All right, we're here with Bob Friend, who's been a member for 44 years at Oakmont and has played in 4 U.S. Opens, including one at Oakmont in 94, was it?
94,
okay.
yeah.
So Bob's going to tell us a little bit about the course. We know it's really, really hard, but can you elaborate on that?
You know, I've played in 4 U.S. Opens, as you said, Stephanie, and one of the things that most U.S. Open courses have is that there's a premium on driving the ball, there's a premium on putting, there's a premium on second shots. Here at Oakmont, there's a premium on everything. The fairways average about 26 yards in width. The fairway bunkering is extraordinarily deep. You know, you're looking anywhere from 3 to 5 feet deep. So once you're able to actually navigate off the tee, putting the golf ball in play, then you've got to deal with the greens, which, you know, everybody talks about the greens here at Oakmont. A lot of the greens here run from front to back, and we're looking at green speeds possibly north of 14.5 to 15 in that range.
Oh my gosh.
If we don't get a lot of rain, we've got rain in the forecast on Thursday and Friday, but if we don't get a lot of rain, you know, you're looking at a winning total of anywhere from 3 to maybe 6 over par. If we get a little bit of rain, gets the greens a little bit softer, the fairways, when they're a little soft, they play a little bit wider. You're looking at something, you know, maybe even par to maybe 3 under par. So it's a very difficult golf course. It tests all facets of the game. Short game is going to be key, but mostly you're going to have to really pay attention to your norths and souths. As a tournament player, you want to make sure you get the ball either past the hole or below the hole. The guy that has distance control this week drives the ball straight and really putts well and is the most patient guy. The guy's going to play really well here at Oakmont.
Don Levine was telling me earlier that basically what did he say? Something about like Isaac, whoever designed the course, just pretended Isaac Newton never existed, and the ball you drop it and it just rolls off.
Yes, yeah, that was Mr. Phones, Henry Phones, designed the golf course. The club started in 1903, opened in 1904, and his goal was to design the toughest golf course in the world, and that's what he did. At one point, there were over 335 bunkers on the golf course. We're now down to 211, and in the 30s, 40s. Before they had the ability to cut the greens to the heights that we have now, a tenth or so is what we're cutting now. They got the speed here at Oakmont through rolling and also through top dressing. They would actually have harnesses on the caddies, and they would roll 500-pound rollers back and forth across the greens a couple of times a day, and they would also top dress, so much so that back in the 30s and the 40s, the greens were actually more sand than they were grass. So the speed's always been there. You know, there was one of the old caddies here by the name of Jim Pernice, who caddied here for close to 75 years. And he said the green speeds, he said if you took a look at the country as a whole, the green speeds might be on 7 or 8. If you came here, they probably rolled around 10 to 11, and that was extraordinarily fast. And they got the speed through using the roller and also top dressing. But the golf course, as members, we kind of see ourselves more as stewards than as members. You know, Mr. Phones, his mantra was, a shot poorly played is a shot irrevocably lost. And we aim for that every single day here at Oakmont.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Spieth was talking about how much sand was in the bunkers. He didn't sound very happy about it. He was saying that 6 weeks ago it was normal, but then since then it seems like they've dumped just a bunch of sand in. It's really hard to judge, and you're going to catch it fat, or you're going to blade it, or I don't know. It's hard to judge.
It wasn't. Jordan is absolutely correct, but that had nothing to do with the club. What was done and what was asked and what was prescribed by the United States Golf Association is that they wanted the sand to be fluffed. And they did that by using various types of rakes to fluff the sand up a little bit more. You don't have any more sand that was put in the bunker since Jordan was here, but through the turf grass practices and the raking that they've done, they've been able to fluff the sand a little bit. But what the USGA wanted to do, they didn't want the golf ball to bury. They don't want buried balls. But what they want the ball to do is they want the ball to settle in its track, which again makes the ball very difficult to control. And I'm not so sure that it necessarily needed that, but that's what it was. It wasn't so much done with more sand being put in the bunkers, but it was the sand being fluffed and loosened a little bit. So you're actually going to require a little bit more skill to play the shots around the greens.
So obviously, I was looking at the leaderboard from 2007, and it's so hard to predict in terms of who do the bombers have an advantage, do the accurate hitters have an advantage. And when you look at the leaderboard from 2007, it's all over the map.
Right.
Are there any specific players though that you like, or that you keep an eye out for?
Well, I think when you go and you take a look at this, you got to take a look at Jason Day, who's playing great. Dustin Johnson is playing great. Daniel Berger won yesterday. He won the FedEx St. Jude. Daniel Berger was out here playing in the Druck SWAT a couple of weeks ago with Stanley Druckenmiller. Got an early look at it. He's playing well. But I think that you go and you take a look at Oakmont, I think it's going to favor a fader. My dark horse pick for the week is my old college teammate, David Toms. I take a look at David, played very well last week at FedEx. The golf course doesn't necessarily require a bomber. A bomber is kind of helpful here at Oakmont.
It's helpful anywhere.
It is. It's helpful anywhere. But David's playing very well. He likes the ball to move from left to right, which Oakmont favors. And also David finished 5th here in 2007, so it requires a lot of imagination around the greens, which David has. David hits a lot of fairways. He's got great ball flight. He's 49 years old, but he's cagey and he's crusty, and he can still get it out there 280 or so. So David's my dark horse pick, but I think you go and you take a look. I think that any of the big three are going to do well here.
And how about that tournament you just mentioned a few weeks ago?
Yes.
I heard Rory McIlroy shot 63 on his own ball that day. Is that true or false?
I don't know that, but I do know that his team shot 62 and they won a lot of money that day.
Gotta find Rory and ask him.
I don't know exactly what he shot, but I can tell you, I looked at his team. He had a lot of help. He had a few really good players on his team, so he probably had a little bit of help. But he can. Obviously, Rory is ranked number 3 in the world, so he's got some skills.
I was going to say, 63 here on your own ball is pretty impressive.
Especially under the conditions that it was.
We'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is how rumors get started.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because now you're saying they shot 62, so that might have been whatever.
Yeah, he might have had a little bit of help. He might have shot 65. I don't know.
So yeah, there's been a lot of chatter, obviously, about that par 3 that is what was it?
Number 8.
Number 8.
288 from the Monument.
Right, the drivable par 3.
Yes. Well, number 8 is the plate. It's the Monument. It plays 288 yards. If the tee is moved back, and the hole locations moved back, you're looking probably somewhere north of 303, 304. There's a big bunker on the left side that we refer to as a Sahara bunker, and that ends at about 240 yards short of the green. So really, a player has got to flight the ball about 235 yards with a little bit of a draw, and you can roll the ball up there. You're going to have a lot of these guys hitting hybrids onto there, maybe 2 irons, maybe 3 woods. It sounds very daunting, and it is for the average player. But these guys hit the ball such distances. I don't see them going in there with more than hybrids.
Yeah, it's probably 5 iron for Dustin Johnson.
Exactly.
And then is it 17 is the drivable par 4? Right?
Yes, 17 is the drivable par 4 that comes back up the hill. You're going to have a lot of these guys are going to be hitting 3 woods there. That's how long they hit it anymore, and that is to carry the last bunkers prior to the green. It's a 287-yard carry, and most of these young guys will be hitting 3 woods off of that tee up onto there. And what they've got to do at number 17 is you've got to pay attention. If the hole location is cut on the right side of the green, you have to miss the green to the left. If it's cut on the left, you've got to miss the green to the right, because the bunker in front, the front's the green on the right side is referred to as a big mouth bunker. It's about 11.5 feet deep, and the bunkers behind the green are all about 8 to 9 feet deep. And depending on where the hole location is cut, if it's right, you have an opportunity from the left. If it's left, you have an opportunity from the right. If you short side yourself there in any of the bunkers, you don't have a chance.
Well, yeah. And especially with the way Jordan was describing it.
Yes, yeah.
And what's the hardest hole out here?
Oh.
Or most challenging?
Well, I can tell you the hardest starting hole in all of golf is number 1. You start off with about 485 yards right out of the box to a 26-yard wide fairway. Out of bounds comes into play. It's the only hole out of bounds comes into play. It's on the right-hand side, deep bunkering right and left, and then your second shot, should you go and maneuver the golf ball into the fairway, your second shot's played to a downhill green that runs slightly away from you. 1 is a very, very difficult start, but also you take a look at 18. It's 485 yards. It's the finishing hole at a U.S. Open, a downhill tee shot to a narrow fairway, severe bunkering to an uphill green. So I would probably say your start is very difficult at number 1, and your finish is very difficult at 18. It's not like Marion. Marion kind of gives you like a warm, cozy hug there with number 1. It's like a 3-wood or a hybrid and a wedge.
It warms you up.
Oakmont just punches you right in the mouth right from the get-go.
Yeah, what's it like to play as a member every day? Do you just feel like you get beat up?
It's awesome. It's awesome. In the 44 years I've been here, not one time have I ever heard one of our members complain that the golf course was too difficult, or that the greens were too fast, or that they were too hard. It's just one of those things. Again, when you join here, it kind of comes with the territory that this is what you're joining. You're not joining a country club course. You're joining a championship golf course, and we like it hard. Always have.
Well, thank you for your insight. That was very